And he's got a whole bunch of these harassment profiles that he makes. And of course, I hide user from this channel after taking a screenshot. I gotta deal with people like that in real life. When I've got people who claim that they're my friends and they don't even hear what's going on with me, they're busy telling me their excuses why they can't before finding out what's going on. Meanwhile, people are dead because they didn't want to hear it. They expected that I would listen to them and their excuses. They've made these excuses before they've even tried, before they've ever made any attempt whatsoever to even look at what it is that I'm going through. And then they don't want to be judged back. That's what I give you. I give you equality. If you judge me, I will judge you equally. If you want to pass unjust anything at me, I can do the same thing to you. If you're going to tell me something and you're not going to come forward with it, you're not going to tell the truth about it to the people that need to hear it, and you're going to waste my time with all of your piddly shit, keep in mind, I can give you equality. I can tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. You don't fucking like it, do you? I can judge you back. You don't like it, do you? Now, I have no doubt that most of these people are capable of showing that I'm an asshole. I certainly am. People are fucking dead because you wanted to be assholes. You wanted to be selfish. Little piddly shit was more important than human lives. And that is pathetic. I try to put myself in other people's shoes. You see how hard I try. If you pay attention, but do you? My friends didn't. There's a difference between having a friend and what I am. Most people don't have any real friends. They have two completely different sets of friends. You've got the wallflower. You don't invite them to go do anything, but you tell them about all your deepest, darkest, most intimate, and fucked up secrets. The things you don't want anybody else to know. Why do you tell the wallflower? Because nobody's going to believe them anyway. Well, I was smarter than that. I recorded it. I didn't call you up to be talked over. I didn't call you up for you to tell me all of your personal business. I called you up for help. I called you up to try to speak with you as a human being in an effective way. I mean, here I am, a 5-minute conversation, and obviously it's going to go over 5 minutes. It usually does. But if you're going to sit there and literally text back and forth with me for 4 hours, you've got time to listen for 20 minutes. I got to say something about complacency. Although I am against racist hate groups like the KKK and BLM, the fact is, there are some things that are said by both groups that are very important and also very true. You don't want to hear that, and I get that. Those of you hate mongers who want to pretend like black people aren't really treated that way. How many black people do you know? Just because it doesn't happen in front of you every single time that you talk to a black person doesn't mean that there are no black people going through that. It doesn't mean that that black person who is nice to you and talks to you every day and serves you coffee wasn't called the N-word last night while hanging out with her friends. Just because she isn't telling you about it doesn't mean that it isn't happening. And you know what? If it gets out of hand and they come to you for help, how likely are you to help them? I try to put myself in everybody's shoes. When people tell me about their problems, I stop and listen and try to put myself in their shoes. The thing is, if they're constantly telling me about their own stuff, when they've taken all this time to argue with me and texting, frustrating the shit out of me, and literally pushing me to wish that I was dead, why didn't I just kill myself instead of trying to call this person? Oh, yes, they said they were my friend. They said that they cared. They said that they would help. That's why I called them. Why is it that I went to go see Pierre in Boulder, Colorado, and waited for him, even though he didn't show up? And then he wanted to play victim 3 days later. No call, no show. And here I am having to deal with people threatening to kill me because I went to go see him where he wanted to. That wasn't okay. And then for me to be treated like I'm a bad person because he was a selfish piece of shit, that's horrible. That is fucking horrible. When somebody is trying to tell you about people getting violent with them, you see, this is the thing with Pierre. This is months and months and months and months and months before Natalie was killed. Pierre Byron had the chance to do the right thing. Just like, well, he should have told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the situation with Dino and Haley, and how Haley not allowing Dino to leave the situation. Haley getting people all amped up to beat up Dino. Multiple people. All Dino wanted to do was leave. That's all he wanted to do. Get away from Haley and her drama. Leave. When you say you just need to leave the situation, who says you're allowed? Who says people are going to allow you to do so? You're not there stopping it. Brandon Ratner with his complaint that Hippie Chris, that's what he goes by, Hippie Chris. This is somebody that I know, somebody Brandon Ratner knows, somebody Veronica Randall knows, and Brandon Ratner is pissed off because this person who is supposedly his friend just watched while Brandon was chastised and victimized over something that didn't happen. He's invited to a party, and as soon as he gets there, he's got people treating him like shit, and he's got to leave. And he doesn't make the connection that that's exactly what Brandon Ratner did to me. He brushed it off. It was no big deal. His problems are always worse than everybody else's, but he's not willing to listen to anyone else's. He's too busy talking about his own. And that's the problem. There's a lot of nice people who are selfish, who don't even try to put themselves in your shoes, but always want you to put yourself in theirs. They want to be able to judge you, but you should not be allowed to judge them. If the law says they done something wrong, they want to push the Jesus on you. They want to say, only God can judge me. Yeah, that's right. Until you're in a fucking courtroom. Only God can judge you. Only God can judge you. After you do horrible things and you want to hide it, and then you want to, ha-ha, only God can judge me. And it is a ha-ha thing. That's exactly what it is. You don't believe in God, or you wouldn't be doing that. And then there's the, what would Jesus do? And those very same people, when you say, what would Jesus do? They say, well, I'm not Jesus. Well, I'm not Jesus. The problem here is that nobody tries putting themselves in my shoes. I'm your sympathy case. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, 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 no. I don't need your I'm fucking sorries. I don't need your I'm sorries. I need you to look and I need you to speak. I tried my best to lend my voice to a lot of other victims who never tried lending a voice to me. Does Sammy Leon Lawrence IV or Zaid Atkinson or Kelly Clark or Michelle Rodriguez, do any of them know how much I've gone to bat for them? Do any of them know how much work I put in? Do they know how much time I took out of my life? Because obviously, them being victimized by literally the same guy I tried to turn in, but I wasn't even allowed that officer's name. Well, they had the body cameras for their stuff, and you thought that was horrible. If I'd have been able to get the body cameras in mine, a lot of police officers would have gone to prison fucking immediately. Sammy Leon Lawrence IV didn't go through shit. Zaid Atkinson didn't go through shit. But you helped them. None of you are willing to speak out for me. None of you. The problem is everybody expects, especially women in this country, have been taught that a man is expected to understand her bullshit, even if it's complete bullshit, even if it is complete and total selfish bullshit. All of your stuff is more important than stopping the abuse that a friend is going through. You're not even willing to hear what they're going through. Your stuff is more important. Now, there's a lady who literally has not called me. She's literally still doing all of the things that make things worse. And she's wanting me to keep secrets. She's wanting me to not say her name. Well, I have to see a change in behaviors. If you are literally going to do everything you can to not be useful, to not be productive, to make sure that I have to go through 10,000 more complicated hours of recording shit because you can't do something so simple as give up your fucking number. See, that's the thing with Megan Missigatis and all of her bullshit. No, if you're going to be involved in this and you're going to be an advocate, then you need to be able to be subpoenaed to fucking court. If you're a lazy shit and I'm victimized because you don't do your fucking job, you don't stop for 1 minute to think about the consequences for me. Megan Missigatis fucked up. A lot of people fucked up. Now, if you're going to tell me something, it better be fucking true. And if the cops say something other than what you're telling me, then either you are lying or they are, and that's what it comes down to. Are you a liar or are the cops? That is what it comes down to. Are you a liar, Megan Missigatis, or are the cops liars? Are you a liar, Marcia Estrada, or are the cops liars? I am not comfortable with anybody who wants to keep their name out of it, especially when they are an example. I get that they don't want to be used as an example. I get that it embarrasses them. Why does it embarrass them? Why does it embarrass them to be called out for being selfish? They don't want people to know that they're selfish. That used car salesman wants to be able to smile at 10 more people this week and sell them more crappy cars. If you get the word out that he smiled in your face while lying to you, telling you he's your friend, and he swears up and down this car's only got 120,000 miles on it, and then you run into the previous owner and he says, dude, it had 680,000 on it when I sold it. That was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, apparently he replaced the engine and drove 120,000 miles on it, apparently. You get the word out about that. You speak up. That used car salesman is not going to fucking like it. Here's the thing. People are mad at me for telling the truth. And then they want to do the same thing that they always did before. When are you going to? It's still open-ended. It's still, you're not coming forward. You're not lending a voice. You're not telling the truth to the public. I don't have your number, so we can't call. It's been, what, 6 years? 6 years. You're going to call. I've got multiple messages say you're going to call. If you're going to call, then call. Actually do it. Actually make the call. You're afraid of your personal business being out there for God and everybody? Well, then don't spend your time telling me about your personal business. Spend your time actually helping me, actually being a friend. If you're too busy talking about your shit because your shit is more important than everybody else's, you're showing that those people don't actually matter. Obviously, you're not reaching out to me for help. You didn't reach out to me for help. Now you're telling me about all your personal problems. All right, well, then I will help you with them. Oh, you don't want help with them? Then why are you telling me about them? What is the purpose in talking about your personal problems to me for 45 minutes to an hour? How is that helping me? You talking nonstop about your fucking self. How is that helping me? How is blowing me off for 6 years helping me? How is not answering the simplest questions helping me? I got a bunch of people from the LGBT community wanting to tell me about how their lives are so much worse than mine. They're going through things that no heterosexual male would ever know anything about. Are you fucking serious? What is it about selling to your bullshit group? There should be one group. We're humans, right? But you want to sell that your group is the only ones being victimized, or the only ones being victimized who matter. I'm trying to get witnesses to tell the truth. That's what I want from them. Instead, they're telling me about all of their problems. You know what? I've been through that shit too. I've been through it in the last 6 years. I'm trying to get help stopping it. You're a witness to my situation. I'm not a witness to yours. Now, if I am a witness to your situation, explain to me how. If you told me about your problems, I am absolutely a witness that you told me about those things. I'm absolutely a witness that I offered to help you with those things, that I offered to help you to turn those things in, and you didn't want to. If you're bitching just to bitch, go to a fucking AA meeting, bitch. Go sit in a room with a bunch of like-minded people who just want to sit around in a fucking room and feel sorry for themselves, for the other people's lives that they fucked up. Oh, poor me, I fucked up a bunch of other people's lives because I'm an alcoholic. Alcoholics are selfish people. Drug addicts are selfish people. But you don't have to be an alcoholic or a drug addict to be selfish. If it wasn't drugs or alcohol, it'd be money. It would be something, some form of control or dependency. Emotionally, we are all dependent. All of us. We all do want to be loved. Actually loved. Not this bullshit the people who want to fuck us put on. They put on a show. Yes, you are sexually interested in Sean Schwartz, so you're going to be creepy and stalkerish about it, and then I'm supposed to be okay with it. No, fucking go away, little girls. I'm not interested. The only reason that you are interested in me is because I'm older than you and you think you're more mature than boys your age. You're not. The reason you're not is because specifically you are taught that you're more mature. No, you mature physically before boys do. But when you're taught that you're more mature, you assume that it means mentally too. No, you're not. At 14 years of age, you think you're more mature than all boys. You know better than all boys because you're more mature, you're more mature, you're more mature. Now you're a 14-year-old girl trolling for a pedophile. You want a boyfriend who's 30 years of age because a 30-year-old is more mature? Not if he's willing to be playing around with a 14-year-old. That's sick. Natalie thought she was in love with me. That is pretty fucking obvious by her own words. As far as putting yourselves in somebody else's shoes, when you're so hung up on being gay and everybody hates you because you're gay and everything bad happens to you is because you're gay and everybody hates gays, in reality you're a fucking alcoholic who's a piece of shit to everybody and you're fucking selfish as hell. When a friend comes to you for help and you want to get drunk and hit on this person who's not interested in that, I'm not calling you to try to appease your sexual desires. I'm calling you because you're a witness. Because you claim to be a friend. The least you can do as a friend is tell the truth. If I'm being harmed by the public, if you're a friend, you would tell the public the truth. If I'm being harmed by the police, if you were a friend, you would tell the police the truth. Natalie was not a friend. She should have told the truth. She finally did. Finally did before she died. Finally. On her last public post, if you scroll all the way up to the very beginning of it, Natalie was still alive and conversing and typing with her friends. When they were trying to pretend that I was a child molester or a rapist, at least on that final public post, after she had slandered the shit out of me through the whole goddamn thing. And sure, there's some things in there that I did, sort of, like staying behind her work for weeks. No, I stayed behind her sister's work because her sister asked me to. And that's the thing, through all of this, you'll believe anything that is said. You won't look at evidence. Where's the slander? Where is the slander against Natalie Bollinger? She claimed I slandered her. Show me one piece that is slander. One thing that I said before Natalie died that was slander. The problem is, I did put myself in Natalie's shoes, and her family's shoes, and her mother's shoes. I try to put myself in all these people's shoes. You tell me I'm making excuses. First you tell me I need to put myself in other people's shoes, and then you tell me I'm making excuses for them. I never had a problem with trying to put myself in someone else's shoes. It's because I've been through actual hell. When people have trivial shit in their lives and it's more important than you, let's imagine if you have a friend who's being raped and they come to you for help because they have to live with their rapist. They need help getting out of there. They need a safe environment and help turning him in. Two things I have not had at any point. Just because it's a roof doesn't mean it's safe. Just because people promise to help doesn't mean they do. When they say they'll do it out of the kindness of their heart, and then they say they can't because they don't have the money. So of course you spend the money that's required for them to be able to do their job. It is a job at that point, I get it. Having a friend shouldn't be a job, it shouldn't be a chore, should it? Well, you know what, sometimes it is. Sometimes you're friends with the guy who's got cerebral palsy and he's getting harmed because he's got cerebral palsy and nobody's going to listen to him. They keep treating him like he's retarded because he has problems speaking now because it's becoming pretty advanced. He's having problems walking. He's got his arms stuck in positions that are weird looking to you. And so you assume that he's mentally retarded. You know what? If it weren't for his disabilities, he might actually get hurt. But instead, people are pretending that his disabilities are something other than they are. He's got a situation that's a problem with the connective tissues between his brain and, of course, the rest of his body. Having a problem with connective tissues is not the same as being mentally retarded. His brain is fine. His brain is not one that just thinks about food and pooping. Food and poop. And that's the thing. You guys think that people who have mental disabilities, somehow magically it makes them primitive animals. It makes them primates. No, I'm smarter than you for a reason. I've also got a lot more experience in the things that you want to tell me about than you do. You've never been homeless, but you want to tell me about homelessness. You've never been victimized like this, but you want to tell me all these things that I can do to fix it by myself, when literally that is the one thing I cannot do. I cannot do it alone. I am not supposed to have to go in alone, legally. Legally, they're supposed to provide an advocate. Now, having the title of advocate but not doing what an advocate does ain't the same thing. Being a friend but not doing what a friend would do. That's the thing about putting yourself in my shoes. Why do I help people? Why do I offer to help? How it does work? Obviously, going into any of these places alone resulted in them breaking the law. So me having to go back to these places after they've broken the law is inappropriate. If someone wants to help me, they have to help me go to services that have not broken the law and actually call those places with me. And if we are told that we have to go somewhere else, like a place that has already broken the law, the place that is referring us or sending us to those places is breaking the law. Social services. Social services are the people legally they should have sent me to. Social services should have showed up at the hospital and should have showed up that day. Now here's the thing, without a guardian or advocate or a friend or family, and that's the thing about the friends and family thing. That's what I've been asking for. Be a friend. Be an actual friend. Don't tell me you're my friend. Don't pretend to be my friend. Now that it comes down to actually doing some fucking friend shit, put your money where your mouth is, bitch. Are you my friend or not? Even if you say no, you're not my friend. You're choosing not to be my friend. That is still your choice. And whether you make that decision or not, I'm still showing the truth. I'm still showing that I did try to get help. I did try going to you for help. And just because you don't want to be my friend no more doesn't change the fact that I went to you for help. It doesn't change the fact that you blew me off. It doesn't change the fact that you literally did all of the things that push a victim to commit suicide. You did all of the things that make them feel hopeless. You did all of the things that make them feel like shit for even asking for help. You make them feel like shit. You intentionally do this. And I give you quality. I treat you like shit back. You don't fucking like it, tough shit. You should have thought about that. You don't want to get fucking treated that way? Don't treat others that way. You want to complain that it's illegal? Really? You didn't think it was illegal when people did it to me. It's only magically illegal if I do it. It's only morally wrong if I do it. You don't want me to pass judgment on you, but you want to pass judgment on me. You don't want me to bring up the past, but you want to bring up the past. You won't speak up about things that you were actually there for, but you'll throw shit in my face that you heard. Well, shit, bitch, I got actual evidence. How about we compare what you heard to the actual evidence? How about we do that? Anyway, there's somebody that the same behaviors are going to result in the same thing. That's pretty simple. Of course, if I'm kind and I only record offline, I don't record anything live, and I do it on my audio recording device, that adds 8 hours to the process of at least 8 hours, possibly 16 per phone call to try to get it out there. Whereas just recording it live is a lot easier and takes less time, about 16 hours less time. And it's out there immediately and right away. I don't have to find a place to go post-edit. I don't have to find a place to plug in my computer so that I can do the stuff that you guys are asking me to do. If I spend all of the time doing what you ask me to do, I'm not getting any of the things done that need to be done. We're not doing any of this family or friend shit. What's the family and friend shit? This is the preventative measures. See, I did the right thing. I tried to cut the issue off before it got so fucked up that people had their brains blown out. I went to my friends and family. Well, I already knew how my family was going to go. I'd reached out to my dad while I was in Virginia visiting Natalie. The rest of my family always showed that they didn't care, no matter what. I knew how it was going to go. And my dad, same thing. I was surprised when my dad, for once, actually listened for one phone call, or at least I thought he did. How can elder abuse be prevented? It says if you are a family member or a friend, try to see the person regularly. Frequent visits will help you determine if the person shows signs of abuse or neglect. Well, neglecting me is definitely, see, that's the thing. My friends and my family neglected me entirely. I didn't matter. I still don't. Their wants, needs, and desires are more important than doing the right thing and doing some friend shit. Despite that fact, what these people are in trouble for is not coming forward. They're not coming forward about the fact that I came to them for help. Fuck everything else. If you can't admit that I came to you for help, I'm going to show that I came to you for help. The whole point of the exercise is showing that I'm being abused because of slander. Law enforcement claimed that I wasn't trying to get help. Any of you who I went to for help can prove that wrong. The fact that I was denied all of my rights because of that slander is pathetic. Try to see the person regularly. You guys ignore me. How can it be prevented? It's called active involvement. It is called civilian oversight. And it requires a family member or a friend. It says, get to know the staff who are taking care of the person. I told you about the staff who were taking care of me. They abused me. You blew me off. Then those staff went and abused more people and killed some people too. But you don't want to look at that. You don't want to hear that. You want to look the other way and pretend that you didn't know nothing, that I never tried to reach out for help. If you keep your mouth shut and never speak up, then my predators get away with pretending what they pretend. You force me to do things that you want to pretend are immoral or illegal. They're not. People are fucking dead. It's a whole new ballgame. People are dead. Maybe you should stop and consider that people are dead, and there is a very specific set of rules and guidelines for that. You think if you ignore the fact that people are dead due to neglect, due to negligence, due to stupidity and ignorance, man, I gotta tell you, it's selective ignorance. You chose to tell me about all of your piddly shit instead of being an actual friend. After weeks and weeks and weeks of going out of your way to take shit completely wrong in typing, you finally try in what is an effective manner, but by that point you're too busy being a dick and talking over me about your own self. You don't have time, you don't have time, you don't have time. Some of these people have spent over 100 hours of recordings, over 100 hours that they could have helped. It says, express any concerns you may have right away. Keep notes of the conversations. How many of you did that? And how many of you helped turn it in? How many people have helped turn that stuff into the courts? That's the thing, is that even though I was railroaded in court, what you idiots aren't understanding is that I was physically and psychologically tortured. Most of those court things they dropped because the evidence would have put people in prison, and you helped them to do it. You helped them because you didn't give a fuck, and now you want to keep your name a secret. No, you tell the fucking truth. You tell the public the truth, or I do. It's that simple. If you want to try another way, then make a way for me to get a hold of you, and don't hide from your words. You want to be afraid of me having your phone number? You should be. You should be. Because I do express concerns I may have right away. I keep notes of the conversations. I record the actual conversations themselves. That's even better than notes. I take pictures if there are signs of abuse or poor health standards. You know what I took screenshots of with my friends and family? Neglect. Neglect. What do I have recordings of with my friends and family? Neglect. When it comes to doing this stuff right here, this family shit, this friend shit, every single one of them showed that they ain't. I went to the people I'm supposed to go to, and I went to them alone. I had to go to them alone because nobody wanted to do any actual friend shit. Nobody wanted to do any actual fucking family shit. Not even if I paid them to tell the fucking truth. They want to argue about how it's not important without listening to why it is important. Did I go to you for help? The reason it's important is because I was denied my rights. Because cops who I was trying to turn in, cops who I went to you for help turning in, and I wasn't trying to get help, claimed that Nobody would help me, and most of you wouldn't. You'd just make excuses. Many of you claim that you helped me, but did you help me in this way? In the way that I said I needed help with? In the way that this here paperwork says to do? This is the same shit the lawyers said, by the way. Except for the fact they gave me the wrong paperwork. This is elder abuse. The paperwork that they should have given me was the developmentally disabled paperwork and the physically disabled paperwork. This elder abuse stuff is close, but it's not the same thing. Get help right away if you or someone you know is being physically abused. Right away! It says right away, not 6 years later. Being verbally or emotionally abused. Well, I verbally and emotionally abuse you assholes back, don't I? But unlike you, at least I fucking admit it. And when you guys are angry, yeah, I understand why you're angry. I'm also saying that your anger is not valid. If I'm not allowed to be angry about this, neither are you. If I'm not allowed to be angry about long-term abuse and being blown off, then you don't get to complain about a few short insults that are true. They're only insults because you feel insulted because you're embarrassed. How dare I tell the truth? It says having food or water withheld for long periods of time. It doesn't have to be long periods of time. When it's used in the way that it is in the prisons, it doesn't have to be long periods of time. Doing it repeatedly over a long period of time is the same thing. It says showing signs of not being fed, not receiving needed medical care. This is all stuff that, obviously, if I'm going to these places that I'm supposed to go to for this help and they're not doing their job, then yes, I'm supposed to get help right away because I'm not receiving needed medical care. The help I need is help stopping ongoing abuse. Ongoing abuse that I tried to tell you about. The police said that I never tried to get help. Well, those of you who did not help, the fact is, you could have helped by admitting that I went to you for help. Instead of making me show it on Facebook and YouTube, you could have helped me to get it into the courts. You don't want your name brought up. That's just too fucking bad. You were already involved. You don't want to get involved? You were already involved. That's the point. You were already involved. You claim to be my friend, and you've allowed me to be victimized for 6 years because you're such a great friend. In 6 years, you couldn't tell the truth. You couldn't admit something so simple as the fact that I went to you for help. You don't want your name out there. You don't want people to know that I went to you for help. Why is it that you don't want people to know that I went to you for help? It's because you didn't help, and people are dead. People are dead because you didn't care, because you were not a friend. The only way you can help now is by admitting that you fucked up and then helping me to do the things that a friend would have done to begin with. If you want to call yourself my friend, or you want to call yourself my family, here it is, then do some family shit, motherfucker. If you're trying to hide your involvement, you're not helping. If you're not willing to tell the public the truth, knowing I'm being harmed everywhere I go by the public, you're not a friend, you're a coward. That's it. If you're going to say it, put your name on it. Put your face on it. Now, I know a lot of y'all, when I make comic book references, you guys want to pretend I'm delusional and think I live in a comic book. I don't. I bring up comic books because there's supposed to be a morality to it. Now, you probably missed that entirely in the new movies because they kind of do entirely lack morality. Now it's just about the battle and action sequences, huh? Mr. Jameson. That's from a comic book about Spider-Man. Mr. Jameson doesn't think that a hero needs to wear a mask. That it's cowardly. Look at all these other people that don't carry a mask around. And they do good things every day. Loud and proud. You want to pretend like because they're not wearing a mask that they're self-serving. We understand the mask, don't we? We understand that people are afraid to do the right thing. They don't want to be targeted and they don't want their loved ones to be targeted. And that's what makes them the real heroes, not Spider-Man. Not somebody who hides behind a mask like a burglar or a thief. There was a point where it got to the point where things were so bad I had to fight fire with fire. They abused me to the point that I was so desperate, I did the same things they were doing to me back. Well, not all of them. The majority of them I'm not capable. I'm barely capable of threatening people back. You have an idea how much it takes me to psych myself up just to say that I'll do something mean to somebody? Meanwhile, what these people consider mean, well, yeah, by all means, we'll call it mean. Telling the truth about you is mean, isn't it? Did you tell the truth about me? Did you tell other people the things that you told me? Did you tell the courts the things that you told me, or the police the things that you told me? If you didn't, that is your fault and not mine. It's not from my lack of effort, it's from your lack of give a shit. The fact that people harmed me over your lack of give a shit is your fault. The fact that I had to do desperate things because of your lack of give a shit is your fault. The fact that I chose to do the desperate things rather than just kill myself is entirely my fault. Nobody gets to keep their name secret that was involved. Not anymore. And if you're going to do the same things and act in the same way and perform the same behaviors, then I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to give you equality. You think it's horrible that I posted up a video that maybe 50 people saw, maybe even 100, huh? But there are literally millions of people who watch these Natalie Bollinger things. What are the chances of you running into one of the 54 people who watched that video? Who listened to it and realized that you're full of shit? What are the chances of you running into one of those people? Not that great. Now imagine if my videos were watched by literally millions of people. That millions of people got to hear you lying to me, got to hear you bullshitting me, actually cared enough to listen. And that's the thing, is that these people who, well, like the lady who doesn't want her name out there, she's willing to help as long as I don't make any more videos with her name in it. That's exactly the situation that created this to begin with. People People didn't want to come forward. They didn't want to be honest. They didn't want to put their name on it. If it's true, then put your name on it. I will not believe anything that you tell me that you are not willing to tell the police, the public, or the courts. I'm not going to believe that you're going to try to help me if you are not helping me to turn it in to the police, the public, and the courts. Your name is already public. It's already out there. Your sins are already documented. They're already on my YouTube channel. You've already tried to have it taken down. You already tried calling it a privacy violation, and YouTube didn't accept it. And Facebook didn't accept it. You've already tried to destroy the evidence that I told the truth. It's already recorded that you tried claiming I slandered your name and that you didn't say, well, things that you're recorded on my YouTube channel saying. So saying that you didn't say it later, claiming, oh, I never said that, it's recorded. And I understand wholeheartedly why it is that you threw a tantrum and ran away, because I do try putting myself in your shoes. Oh shit, you got busted lying. It's time to backtrack. Congratulations, stupid. It's the same thing people do when they realize that their dealer is one of the people you're trying to turn in for being a child molester. Or when they find out that it's a police officer that you're trying to turn in. Backtracking. So you guys won't be the first one to stand up and say, hey, this is fucked up. It's always me. It's always Sean David Schwartz, isn't it? It's always Sean that has to stand up to them first. Why is it that Sean Schwartz is always the one to stand up first? Because I know what it's like to have nobody in my fucking corner. I know what it's like to be victimized for years and years and years. Because it's just you. Nobody gives a shit. They'll say that they're your friend, but after watching you get beat up for something you didn't do, they'll say they're sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. Fuck you. Why do I actually stand up for the underdog? Why do I actually put myself out there and my voice out there? Because we are not being heard. You get to hear paranoid schizophrenics on my channel who come up and talk to me who are homeless here on the streets. You get to hear that some of their information is correct. It's proper. They know where these places are. They have the same issues with care. They have the same issues with all of these agencies that I'm trying to turn in. These people are afraid, though. That lady yesterday, when she realized there was other people on my channel that had spoken up, then she was willing to speak up, wasn't she? The problem is none of these people are putting themselves in my shoes. If you needed help, you'd have it immediately. If I need help, you just assume that someone's gonna. Somebody else is supposed to do it. It's somebody else's responsibility. Yeah, I'm a friend, but really, Sean is my go-to guy when I want to bitch about my life sucks. In reality, I've got two sets of friends. I got the friends like Sean that are the wallflowers I bitch about my life to. And then my fun friends that I go do fun stuff with. Please don't bother me, wallflower. I'm doing fun stuff today. Okay. I see what kind of a friendship we have. I am here to be your fucking therapist. I don't understand why it is that I'm so easy for people to talk to. Now, one of my therapists, actually he was a doctor, but he was explaining to me that it's We don't even need to get into all that. Screw it. You guys want to make assumptions. You don't understand what the life is actually like for the people living it. You want to assume that everybody out here is a junkie. Meanwhile, you got junkies in your own fucking house. But those junkies in your house are getting help because you care about them, despite the fact that they're junkies. But those of us out here on the streets who are not junkies, you treat us like we're junkies. You'll protect the junkie in your house at the expense of an innocent homeless person because you're a piece of shit. You're making things worse for everybody. And hiding, that's not going to work. The police need to know about it. The courts need to know about it. And the public needs to know about it. Now, when I first went to you for help, that's not what was necessary. What was necessary when I first went to you for help wasn't for you to speak up publicly. Wasn't for you to have to try talking to the media or talking to the courts or talking to even the police necessarily. I mean, if you look at the situation with Maddie Boa, she was the source. I mean, going to her and asking for help, putting a stop to it, that didn't require police. She could have simply told the truth and put a stop to it right then and there. Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger could have told the truth and stopped it right then and there. Instead, they continued to play, and people continued to victimize me. And when I tried to get help because people were victimizing me, they pretended like that was stalking. No, asking for help is not fucking stalking. When you're being abused and you're asking for help stopping the abuse, that is not stalking. If your friends want to pretend that you're stalking them because you're asking for help stopping abuse, they're not your fucking friends. And it is not wrong of you to show the truth when you're being abused. It is not wrong of you to show that you went to people for help and they blew you off. It is not wrong of you to show that their piddly shit was more important than human lives. The Bollinger family's embarrassment was more important to them than Natalie's life. Natalie's embarrassment was more important than my life. Alicia's embarrassment was more important than my life. Rose M. Kelly's embarrassment is more important than my life. But also to my friends, everything is more important than my life. My mom helping child molesters like Doug Cowden and Brian Bruns and Michael Allen Albert and Andrew Witcher, her helping to get those people so they didn't get in any trouble for being child molesters was more important than her own son. And it's always been. It's always been about the image. My mom will help strangers' kids out, but not her own. Why is that? Because there's more prestige and recognition from helping other people's kids. And also because all of my mom's kids know what getting help from her actually entails. It's like when somebody says that they'll help you turn in your predators, and then they want to throw a sandwich in your face for 6 years. I gave you a sandwich. 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 You remember when I gave you a sandwich? Don't say I never helped you. I gave you a sandwich. It was an expensive fucking sandwich. The investment just in money to try to do things at Shannon Alvarado's when I didn't have an income, and she knew I didn't have an income. She knew I needed help getting that income back. She knew that she would need to actually keep her word in order for that to happen. She would have to help me in person, like she said that she would. And I did show up in person. But she never did that. Never made any attempt at that whatsoever. She never made any attempt to try to turn in what she knew about Kara Johnson Miles. And as a result, Kara Johnson Miles was allowed to continue to gaslight me and was allowed to slander me in court. Because when it was happening, nobody, not one of these fake pieces of shit, ever once attempted at all to help me turn it in. When it's happening especially, they'll say, oh, well, I got a funeral this weekend. My kid is sick. Maybe next weekend. Then next weekend, they can't be reached. Meanwhile, your predators are getting away and they're still doing this shit, but nobody's got the fucking time. When it's all over the news, here's the thing, is that I was assaulted by the same officer as Samuel Leon Lawrence IV. Where he was painted as a victim, I was painted as a predator. In reality, we are both victims of Waylon Lolotai and the Boulder Police Department. In reality, I spoke up for the other victims. I spoke up about my experiences with Waylon Lolotai. I led credence to their words. I showed that they're not the only ones, that this predator by name, Waylon Lolotai, in specific, he was there for so many situations that Boulder is in the news for. Samuel Leon Lawrence IV. Yeah, who was involved in that? That's right, he was assaulted by none other than Waylon Lolotai. Michelle Rodriguez, also assaulted by Waylon Lolotai. Kelly Clark, also assaulted by Waylon Lolotai. And then there's Zaid Atkinson. You look at that video. You see the black man with a shotgun? That's Waylon Lolotai. He had an Instagram up that showed his real character. And something called Tactical TOA. TOA. Now, he took those down. Why did he take those down? Because it's evidence. Because it's evidence that Boulder County, knowing that this man was violent, knowing that he was violent-minded, they knowingly, willingly, and intentionally hired him. Because they knew that he would harm people. They knew that he would hurt people. They knew that he would break the law. And he knew that because they were hiring him to be a fucking goon, that they would break the law for him, and so they have, and so they shall. They allowed him to get away with crimes they found themselves not guilty. You send a Jew to Heinrich Himmler or Adolf Hitler to say, hey man, the SS is killing my people. Do you think Heinrich Himmler is going to fucking help you? Do you think Adolf Hitler is going to fucking help you? Do you think any agency under their regime is going to fucking help you? No, you're a Jew. Here in America, homeless people are your equivalent of Nazi Jews. If you were a Jew in the Nazi regime, you were not a human being. And if you're homeless in this American regime, you are not a human being. You don't have a voice. You don't matter. You're going through worse shit than everyone else, and everybody's going to tell you about all their problems and how much worse their problems are than yours. Bitch, you live in a house. You get to see your loved ones. You get to hear their voices. You have help. If something happens to you, it is less likely to happen to you because you aren't spending all of your time alone. It is less likely to happen to you because people see you and the fact that there are people who actually care about you and they think twice about it. But when there is fucking silence and crickets, these people know that they can harm you anytime that they fucking want. You want me to keep your name out of it? Then you need to put your name on it.